Here's the care video for the Burle Marx. So this is a philodendron, so it's typical philodendron care, super easy. Let's start off with light. They're gonna want bright light. They don't have to be right up in a window, but they still do want to receive what would be considered bright light. I do have a whole video on how to assess the difference between bright light, medium light, and low light. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you do that so you know what bright light is for these guys. They can take like the lower end of bright light if you see that video. Next, let's talk about watering. So watering, they're kind of an intermediate waterer. During the spring and summer months, this is when they're actively growing, right? And I like to let them dry out about 25% in between waterings during the spring and summer months. That's when they're really going. And if you don't know how to do that, you can just stick your finger down in the soil, about 25% down, or my favorite way to do it is with a chopstick. Stick a chopstick down there about 25% into the soil. If it's dry, it's ready to give a good soak. In the wintertime, they go dormant, and they're not gonna have as much light because their days are shorter, so they're not gonna be using up as much water. I like to let them dry at about 50% in between thorough waterings during the dormant season. For fertilizing, that would be done again during the growing season. That's the spring and summer months. You can do that with just a well-balanced liquid-soluble fertilizer, or a granule fertilizer works as well. I just like to use like a 10-10-10 or 15-15-20, even a 20-20-20 will be fine also if you want to do that. For repotting, I like to use a 1-to-1 ratio of something that's going to retain moisture, so like a typical houseplant fertilizer, soil, mixed in with something that's going to drain really well. I typically will use cactus soil, pumice stone, perlite, orchid bark, something that's going to allow it to drain, because it does want to retain some moisture, but again, we do need to make sure that it is draining pretty well also. But that's going to do it for the care instructions for the Burle Marx philodendron. If you have any questions about that, let me know in the comment section below, or you can always message me on Facebook or Instagram at Tanner the Planner.